दर्शकहरू हामी निरन्तर साग सन्दर्भमा छौं जसरी 18औं साग शिखर सम्मेलन नेपालमा चलिरहेको छ र बुधबार मात्रै 18औं साग शिखर सम्मेलनको उद्घाटन भएको छ र खास गरी दक्षिण एसियाली देशहरूले मुख्य गरी जुन फेस गरिरहेको र भोगिरहेको अहिलेको समकालीन समस्याको विषयमा केही सम्बोधन हुनेछ र छिमेकी मित्र राष्ट्र सहितको एउटा सामूहिक प्रतिबद्धताका साथ दक्षिण एसियाली देशहरूले भोगेको समस्याको समाधान कुनै बाटो वा मार्ग प्रशस्त हुने अपेक्षा समेत 18औं साग शिखर सम्मेलन लिएको छ। यही सन्दर्भमा छौं हामी र यसै विषयमा निरन्तर कुरा गरिरहेका छौं। यति बेला हामीसँग हुनुहुन्छ भारतबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गर्दै रजनी बक्सी जो एउटा शान्ति दूतको समेत अभियन्ता हुनुहुन्छ। म्याम, वेलकम टु न्यूज 24।
Namaskar. Thank you.
How you feel being at Kathmandu?
Oh, it's beautiful. I've enjoyed it very much, and I wish I had more time. I have spent too much time in meetings and not had enough time to enjoy the city.
Most of the head of the state and head of the government in the time of delivering their speech in the SAARC summit opening ceremony, they used to say that Nepal is the land of peace, a land of beautiful and land of Buddha. So peace campaigns should be established overall in the world and which should be led by the South Asian region. How you edit more in this topic?
Well, there is indeed a very long heritage of this part of the world, shall we call it the Indian subcontinent or the region, what is today called the South Asian region, of being a land which has fostered or given birth to great saints and great proponents of compassion as the basis of life and governance, not just peace in some airy-fairy sense, in a romantic or a dreamy sense, but a very practical agenda of how compassion can be the basis of peace, starting with the Buddha, who then influenced Ashoka, the great emperor Ashoka, who, as you know, all the key symbols of the modern Indian state are Ashoka symbols, are from that period. And then of course there is the whole Jaina tradition of non-violence, and now Gandhiji in the 20th century. So indeed the world looks to us to be the leaders in this sphere of showing how compassion and the quest for peace, but peace that is based on justice, can and should be the basis of governance.
It's still on debate that it's not fair, it's fair or not. Mainly European and American used to portray as the land of poverty, land of terrorists, as South Asian. We feel quite sad, or we have to deliver with sorrowly. They used to portray us as like that.
See,
how can we reduce or how can we improve our current status?
See, firstly, I think we should be careful not to accept any generalization, because in all fairness we do that about the West also. Sometimes we think or we talk about the West only as a land of hedonism and of constant consumerism, and it's true that over the last half century there has been an explosion of consumerism in the West, but there are many other things happening also. So in the same way, we should reject all these stereotypes about ourselves, and indeed it's a shame that we have in some of the largest number of poor people are in our part of the world, and that is a shame, because we have thrown off the colonial yoke in India 67 years ago. So it is a shame, but we also need to look at how many people have moved out of poverty. And so while we need to have a sense of urgency to ensure that, as Muhammad Yunus has put it very beautifully, apne Bangladesh ke jo hai Muhammad Yunus, he says, let us put poverty in the museum. We must reach a stage where you will have to take children to a museum to show them what was poverty. So we have to work urgently towards that. But of course it is a complete nonsense to say that this subcontinent should be known only for its poverty.
Ma'am, as you are looking since a long time as a SAARC region, a SAARC summit, SAARC countries, just we are in this stage, it's already 29 years old and now we are in the 18th SAARC summit. How you conclude your normally problems which are raised but not implemented.
Not ever implemented, yes. No, that is indeed a cause for disappointment. But I think we should take Mr. Modi seriously. As you know, Prime Minister Modi today has made an appeal in his speech against cynicism and skepticism and in favor of hope. And I picked up this figure somewhere, I think half the population of the SAARC countries is under 25. Now, and when you are that young, you cannot afford to be pessimistic, because then your whole life will be colored by darkness. So that is one. We should, on behalf of that half of our collective population, which is so young, we must not be pessimistic. That is one. But more importantly, look at the complexity of what we are trying to solve in this region. Okay, and to expect that there will be some simplistic and sudden solutions is not realistic. So that we have lost 29 years is one way of looking at it, but the other is that we have invested 29 years in this endeavor, and we are committed to continuing this effort, knowing that whether it will take long or short time, we will achieve our goals. That determination we must not leave.
Ma'am, I need more elaboration from you.
Sure.
Prime Minister Modi, being the charm people of the world, world is watching his leadership. And it's our proud that Mr. Modi, also represented from India in the SAARC region, how he gave a precious role to improve the current standard of SAARC countries.
Well, there's been a lot of coverage on this. If you look at many of the commentaries that have been written by experts in the build up to this summit, which is happening today in Kathmandu, many of the commentators have said, they have actually described Mr. Modi as the last hope of SAARC. And they are hoping that he will somehow be able to bring a resolution firstly with Pakistan, because as you know, the Indo-Pak relationship is one of the major factors that will make or break the future of SAARC. And so at the moment I think it's enough that there is this hopefulness. Now what form it will take, what shape it will take, what will be the complications that will come up along the way, that we cannot predict at the moment. And also please remember that no one leader can wave a magic wand. We live in a very troubled part of the world. As you know, our reality, our political stability of this region is connected all the way west to the problems that are happening in Syria and the whole rise of the Islamic State. All of that has a bearing on the stability and the peace of our region. So no single leader can work magic, but what matters is that there is an atmosphere of hopefulness, and we should support that tendency to be hopeful, because if you are positive, then at least there is a chance that we can move forward. And the more important thing is that when you act from hope, you are much more capable of taking creative steps. When you act from fear and insecurity, it is much more likely that you will be rash and make a mistake, costly mistake. So in that sense, I think it's very significant that there is an atmosphere of hopefulness.
Along with the going, ma'am, I need some clues from you. What should we have to do in the sector of poverty, gender problem, terrorism or peace building? What should we have to do? Mainly, what should SAARC summit have to do?
Well, all of these are interrelated problems, but they also have their independent dynamic. One easy route is that, as you know, there was a People's SAARC which was held here in Kathmandu from 22nd to 24th November. And many NGOs and civil society organizations from across the SAARC region assembled here, and they had very detailed deliberations on all of these issues. Well, most of these issues. And I think that there is a lot of very rich thinking in these kinds of deliberations by the civil society and NGO people. And I think that if the official SAARC's secretariat and all, because you know the SAARC process goes on, it's not just a matter of one summit. The SAARC process goes on all the time. If the governments and the SAARC process as a whole can learn from the processes that are happening in these unofficial forums and understand what is it that the people want, what is the precise nature of the suffering at the grassroots. And I am not saying that anybody in that sector has complete and ready-made or perfect answers. That is not the case. But they do have a detailed understanding of the problem, and together their understanding in the official sector and the private sector can potentially work together to find new answers.
Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Namaskar.
Okay. दर्शकहरु यति बेला हामीसँग हुनुहुन्थ्यो भारतबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गर्दै रजनी बक्सी जो फ्रिलान्स जर्नलिस्ट एज वेल लेखक पनि हुनुहुन्छ र यससँगै हामी बिदा माग्छौं। नमस्ते।